Hello and welcome to this video, and today we're gonna try to find what is the best revival and healing food in this game. But before that, let's explain why. Well, because not many of us have a fully built healers ready to go, like Kokomi, Barbara Jean or Bennett, especially in the early game when your healer is still at low level, so in the time when your HP is going down below like 30% and suddenly enemy want to slap your ass in the next 2 seconds, what are you gonna do? Tell your teammates to heal you? What if there's no one using a healer? Or the worst case is, what if they are already dead? Are you just gonna running around doing nothing? Or are you going to go in and out mid domain just to get a healing from statue of 7? Of course no, right? So yeah, if you have food and you're doing a domain, you still can rely on yourself to stay alive and continue clearing the domain. Especially in Archon Quest where you need to defeat a boss as a solo, which can be a little bit hard, but if you have food, it will be much easier to defeat it. And now, let's start finding the best food for you right now. Okay, in this video, I will divide the recommendation into 3 categories, 3 types and 3 tiers. For categories, they are best for early game, mid game and end game. And within those categories, there are 3 types of food. Those are revival food, fixed healing food and continuous healing food or regen food. And to make it more specific and easier which one is the best, I will divide the food into a simple tier list from S, A and B tier. For tier list, we don't need to go all the way to F tier because it will just become too complicated. So I will just stay with this tier list. But anyway, in addition how to decide which one is the best, we need conditions. 1. We need to consider how difficult to get the resources for cooking it. 2. How complicated is the process to cook the food. In the next one, let's explain the main categories or stages. So there are 3 of it: early game, mid game and end game. In this video, I will classify it based on player level or AR level, adventure rank. Level 1 to 40 is early game, 41 to 54 is mid game, and 55 to 60 is end game. And for starter, let's put the food rarity on screen. 1 star here, 2 star here, and 3 star here. However, there will be some exception too. And now let's move on to food types: revival, fixed healing, and continuous healing. Revival, of course, for reviving a character, and revive character will have a small amount of starting HP. Fixed healing food is, healing food with a fixed amount of healing. If you want to heal again, you need to use it again. And continuous healing is when you use the food, you will get healed every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. So a total of 6 times, but only a small amount. And it's all same across the rarities. Also, the problem with this continuous healing is you can stack or extend the healing. The reason why I divide it like this is that in early game, getting 2 star or 3 star recipe is hard because they cost you more and some of them require you to finish a quest first. Even if you can buy some of the recipe, the materials required to cook it is really a lot, so you can get a bunch of them. So yeah, for early game, just use 1 star food. They don't cost a lot in terms of materials and mora, and it's better to save it to upgrade your character or weapon. For mid game, after you upgrade it, most frequently use character to level 80 or maybe max, and you have a good amount of mora and materials. Also, you have NRE at this point too. Why not upgrade it to 2 star food then? It's better to get more HP from higher rarity food, especially revival food, because the higher HP you get after revive, you don't need to use a lot of healing food after that. And for the end game, at this point you have a ton of mora and materials, so of course you can make whatever you want. However, for efficiency and for long run too, it's better to find the right food that you can use forever, maybe. So, because 3 star food, which is the best rarity at this stage, it have a downside. They cost a lot of materials and you need to spend either your time to get the materials or buy the materials using mora. In this case, using mora to buy the materials is the best way, so you don't need to spend your time grinding for different materials. You know, it's just wasting your time. And that is my reasoning why I divide it into 3 categories. So what stage are you on right now? You can make what is the best food on that stage. Also, if you have a character with high HP, it's better to heal using 3 star foods because of the high amount of healing. So anyway, let's just get straight into it. Okay, pause. For note, I'm not gonna spell out all of the name of the food. It's already on the screen and the recipe too. So I will only spell the important ones. Okay, let's go back. For this category, it's pretty simple. In B tier, there are 4 of them. In A tier, there are Mondstadt grilled fish and mora meat. And in S tier, steak and teafat fried egg. Now let's explain it a bit. With the B tier, most of the food require you to buy it from NPC in different area and one from the chest. Also, to cook it require multiple materials, which is not early game friendly, so it's not worth it. For A tier, Mondstadt grilled fish is available by default. However, you need to catch the fish. If you try to catch it manually, they're just gonna swim away and you won't be able to get it. So if you have a character that can do AoE skill, just go ahead use that. Also, you need to buy some of the materials from shop too. For mora meat, you need to clear the quest first, and to make it you also need wheat from shop. Both of it also not the best. It's okay if you want to make one of them. And the last is S tier, steak and teafat fried egg. Both very simple and easy to make. You only need one materials, no need to buy or grind other stuff. And if you cook the steak with amber and fried egg with Bennett, you'll get a better healing. So yeah, S tier it is. And now let's move on to healing food. Starting with B tier, there are a lot of food that you might not want to cook in the early game. The recipe and how to get it already there on the screen, but it's just not worth getting them. Some require you to get materials from Inazuma or Sumeru, some require you to buy from shop, and because you will need to have a bunch of healing food, it's just not feasible. So you might consider to go to the next tier, which is A tier, chicken mushroom skewer and mint jelly. Both are considered easy to cook foods because there are plentiful of mushroom, mint and sweet flour in a world, so it's pretty good. Though the only problem is fall to make the skewer because the fall come from bird and bird can fly, right? So you need a character who can slay them fast and of course with some AoE damage if there are a pack of them like Yelan, Ganyu, Fenty or maybe Faruzan. If you have one of them, you can just go exterminate all of them if you want. And because of that, fall also the problem for the next tier. Well, it's kind of 50-50 in this tier. So I will just put it in the middle of S and A tier, which is Sweet Madame. Even though this food is better because giving you better healing, but this food require you to get 2 fall, unlike skewer which is only need 1 fall. And then if you don't have a character mentioned before to slay this bird, it's an A tier, but if you have it, it's an easy S tier. And that is also the end of early game recommendation. Okay, for the next one, mid-game stage. So, in Revival Food, let's upgrade to 2-star food because it gives you more HP when you revive a character. But of course, you want to choose the easiest one to make it right. But before that, let's see what Revival Food you should avoid in this stage. Starting with C tier, I mean B, this 3. And moving to considerable A tier, makes yakisoba and udon noodles. And then the last is S tier, which is the best for revival food in this stage, and that is tea break pancake. Okay, then now explain it. All food in B tier require you to grind a lot of material from the wild, which is not good, like matsutake, snapdragon, crab roe from crab, and hara fruit, because there's not many of it per world, and this food require you to get a couple of it, and some you need to wait for a really long time just to get one material like crab roe, so it's not feasible. For the next one, A tier, mixed yakisoba and udon noodles. Both only need one material from the wild, and the rest of the materials you can buy it from the shop, so that makes it easier to make. But there are 2 problems. First, you need to reach Inazuma and buy it from the NPC, and the second is that if you want a better healing, you need either Yai or Ito to cook the food. If you don't have either of them, well, go for the S tier, and that is tea break pancake. It's Noel's specialty, and obviously you already have Noel since early game, right? So it's the best 2-star revival food in this stage. Also, the good things are, this food only require 1 egg, 3 berries, and for 1 plant of berry contain 3 berries, so it's good. The downside is that there is not much of it, but that's also an upside because there's not much of it, making it easier to remember where the plant is. So yeah, that's all for the revival food. And next is healing food. In B tier, well, it's there. Most of the foods require too much material to make and it's painful to grind most of the items like unagi, matsutake, kalwa, carrot, etc. It's just Nah. Let's just go move on to A tier. In this tier, for fixed healing type is Tunasushi, and continuous healing are Berry Mizu Manju and Onigiri. Two of them require you to buy the recipe from the shop and the other one from quest. In terms of materials, it's not that bad. One only requires 2 materials but need 3 each of the items, and the other 2 is the opposite. All of them are decent food, however it's not the best foods. The best foods are Sweet Madame for fixed healing and Flaming Red Anyway, that is the name. For continuous healing, very easy to make, recommended food 9 out of 10 in 2-star food category. And if you have Rosaria or Lisa, you can get more healing from cooking if you're lucky. So I think it's better to make it using Barbara or Jean to get more food rather than a small change to get bonus HP. So that's it for recommendation in mid-game stage. And now let's go to the last category. Well, in here, because you're already using NRE so often for healing, not manually opening the menu first and use the food, so it's much better to use only one revival food and one either fixed healing or continuous healing. But fixed healing is much better than continuous healing. I will just put both of them in the tier list later on. Anyway, let's start with revival food. It's really simple. But before we go straight into S tier, let's start with B tier first to see what food you should avoid here. In revival food, none of these are worth it. Just don't make it unless if you want them for quest or achievement maybe. You can make it. Other than that, just don't. It's just painful to grind all 3 to 4 different materials like this veggie bake or conda cuisine. It is nah. For A tier, well, there's nothing here. I don't consider most of the 3-star revival to be worth making, so let's just go to the S tier then. For S tier, okay, this is the best food you can make. Golden shrimp balls. I know it's a bit expensive because you need to buy a lot of materials like this food costs you 5 shrimp just to cook one item, right? But it's much easier because you just can buy it rather than wasting your time going around Teyvat just looking for the materials. So it's absolutely S tier food, best food, just make and use it, okay? This is just some quick information. Every 3-star food can be beaten by any specialty revival food, but the problem is you need to have the character first to get it. Also, it's not that easy to get because the chance is so small. But still, it's up to you either you want to make it or not. Now, let's move on to final food recommendation. Okay, unlike revival food that only require you to make maybe 100 tops, for healing food, you need a bunch of it. We're talking like 500 or above. Well, if you like me, maybe go over 1k. And now let's go straight into the tier list. Pretty simple, just like revival food, because you need to make a lot of it. Everything in B tier is absolutely no, just no, just don't make it, please. Just don't suffer yourself grinding all of the items, please. And now for A tier, it's okay if you want to make it. For fixed healing, there is golden chicken burger, pretty delicious because you only need to grind one materials, which is full. Also that the downside, of course, just like I mentioned before in the video, you need a character that can do AoE damage easily and you need to have the recipe too. But wait, what if I don't have the recipe? It will be in B tier, not A tier. Well, because I have it and I made a ton of it before, so it's an A tier, right? And for continuous healing, there is mushroom pizza, best one. Mamma mia! Wait a minute. Why mushroom pizza? Well, everyone like pizza, right? Why not just make it? It only needs 3 materials from shop, right? And a little bit of mushroom. It's not a big of a deal. It's also delicious. And plus, okay, hear me out. Big if, right? If you have gin and you use gin to cook it, you get 2 bonuses. You get extra normal pizza and gin specialty pizza. It's pretty good, right? Free well food. Anyway, let's move on to S tier. Only one food. This is fixed healing food, pizza pocket. For this food, this is the best food in this game for healing. Look at the materials required. Everything is really easy to get. Well, you need to buy and make the flour first and find ton of raw meat. But there is plentiful of raw meat in Teyvat, so it's good. Especially if you want more HP when healing, just use Collei to get Collei's specialty food. Also, Collei is free character, so it's also point plus for this. So yeah, that pita packet, easily the best food I can recommend to you if you want to make a ton of it. Yeah, S tier food. I know. S tier, maybe no. Triple S tier food. Yeah, perfect. Until the better one coming out in the future, maybe. I don't know. And that's all for the recommendation. 1 star, 2 star, and 3 star food. But despite that, it's so unfortunate you can't use healing food in Spiral Abyss. Food or NRE only works in normal domain or overworld, but still, it's very useful. Also, in the end, you're the one playing the game, right? You can craft whatever you want. Like, you want to make Sakuramochi for revival or Tachin for healing, it's up to you. Or you just don't want to use healing food at all. Maybe it's your type of gameplay, I don't know. But if there is a newer and better food in the future, maybe I will update it. Maybe, hopefully. So yeah, that is the end of the video. Type your favorite healing food in the comment if you want. Like the video if you find this video interesting. Also don't forget to sub so I can make more video in the future. So, my name is Farize, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in whatever video I upload next. See ya!